Good to see you here in Kentuckiana. Want to share this new episode and something I actually learned last night from a town hall meeting that we had. Yes, sometimes you got to do the town hall. And despite the fact that there's risk and they typically turn into Jerry Springer episodes, in this case it did. And we did everything we could ahead of time to mitigate that, made sure that the news crews didn't bring their cameras in. We instead of having an open forum of Q&A, which really that's where it all starts falling apart. We did cards, collected about 40 questions, and so we had that scripted to mitigate as much as possible the opposition, which about half of the audience of about 75 were opponents. So they weren't there to learn anything; they were there to sabotage. So we're about 5 or 6 questions into the Q&A where they did their attack. They started doing questions and lobbying, all these different questions, accusatory statements, and we really saw the tail wagging the dog now, and which was no shock. That's how town halls usually play out when the opposition is organized. In this case, they were. But here's what I learned, and it was great to see. Actually, the client was very situational, intuitive, even in ad lib. Instead of sticking to our script of just staying with the questions and trying to tap down the audience now that was feeling like they controlled the event, he allowed the opposition to ask the questions. And so he was basically like a boxer up against the ropes, and he was allowing the opposition to do all the body blows, a couple shots to the chin, and he never lost his composure. He never raised his voice. He was always respectful. And guess what happened? After about a half hour, 75 people turned down to 50. And then 50 turned down to 30. And an hour and a half later, it was only 15 people left. And at 9 o'clock, we wrapped it up, and he was still asking, is there any more questions? They were done. All they could do is keep repeating the questions they asked and the accusatory statements, and walked away. And so that's the tip here. You know, sometimes you got to listen to your gut, be situational, and have that endurance, and you can prevail. Basically, they marginalize themselves by just not, by showing their true colors. And but on the client side, you had goodwill because you sincerely answered every question. Questions that are asked 3 or 4 different ways in the same answer. And so brilliant work. I learned something. I enjoyed what I saw last night, wanted to share it with you. This is how you turn your NIMBY opposition into YIMBY successes and opportunities. Is sometimes you got to listen to your gut and do what you got to do. See you next time.